welcome you all to Women Stop the Madness. And like I was saying, we are going to be super interactive. So I might stop, I might give you personal examples, I might stop and make you say something to your neighbor, I might stop and make you think of a goal really quickly for your next assignment or something you need to do in your relationship, just so that you guys can get some tidbits, on to take on your way out. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is that there is a distinct difference between men and women. The energy is different. So the first chapter is men and women equals apples and oranges. The reason that I said apples and oranges is because they're both really good fruit and they're kind of equal and opposite. Like they're not the same, they're not in the same family, they're not the same kind of fruit, but people equate them together a lot of times, apples and oranges. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that the difference in men and women is more so in deed and action than physical. I know people are like, well, yeah, duh, you're a woman and I'm a man, but no, it's more so in deed and action rather than the physical. And we're so different that it's actually amazing that we can even coincide together without killing each other, because we're that different. We're nothing alike. The way our thought processes are, the way we process information, the way we look at things, our perception, everything is different. So if you don't learn and get a good understanding of what you're dealing with, which is the other party, you're always going to run into some form of conflict. So the key to making your relationship harmonious is the understanding of men and what we're dealing with. And these are where most of the issues arise, is because of this lack of understanding and how men are actually wired. They're just wired differently than we are. So first things first, the most simple of all the differences is that men think with a different side of the brain than women. That's just a fact. That's scientific. While women, we tend to go back and forth and use both sides of the brain. Men are very one-sided. They use one side of the brain only. So women, it allows them like a broader view of spectrums, because we can go back and forth between left brain and right brain, and they don't. So the fact that men usually think with one side of the brain allows them to focus and see each issues differently, and they're able to compartmentalize. You guys know what compartmentalize means? Right. So having said that, they're able to have an issue with their wife or girlfriend or significant other, and then they're going to go to work and they're going to function effectively and efficiently, and they're going to act like that fight never even happened. And then you're going to look and be like, oh my God, he's just okay. Now you can get into a fight with your husband or boyfriend or your mate, and then you go to work and you like fumbling, you're dropping stuff, you like, the phone's ringing, you're not listening to what they're saying, because the whole time your mind is still thinking about the issue that you had in the house before you left with your husband. So I remember being married to my husband, and we would have like a little spat, and then he would go downstairs and cut hair, and I would hear him cracking up with his friends like, yeah, yeah, and I'd just be upstairs like, oh my God, so you just don't care? Like you don't even care that I'm this upset? And it's not that they don't care, it's just that they're able to separate one from the two. They will deal with that issue when they get back home. They're not going to think about that issue when they're outside of the home. So this will cause you to think that your man doesn't care, or that he's uncompassionate or unsympathetic to your plight, but that's not the case. So just learn to kind of like deal with that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is just the differences, so we can get those out before we get into the nitty-gritty. The second thing that I want to talk about, besides the differences, is that masculine and feminine have very different energies. Now, I call it masculine and feminine. In science, they call it, spirituality, they call it yin and yang. So there's always going to be a feminine and a masculine energy in every relationship that you take part in. There's always going to be one of the two energies present, but the only thing about the two is based on the laws of physics, and the laws of physics states that there cannot be two of the same energies in the same room at the same time. So having said that, if I'm trying to explain it in the best way possible without getting too deep. Okay, so we both have both sides of energy. Like women have masculine and feminine, and male have masculine and feminine. However, women are majority feminine and men are majority masculine. However, if you are a woman that wants to operate in your masculine, which sometimes we have to, it's not that it doesn't happen, but if you own a business, or if you have employees, or if you're out in the workforce and you have to like make things happen and make decisions, that is masculine energy. So feelings and emotions, let me just separate the two. Feelings are what you feel based on your thoughts. So when you think something, you feel something. That's just how it works. If you think a good thought, you feel good. If you think a bad thought, you feel bad. Your emotions are how are the agitations of your feelings. They're how you act your feelings out. So feelings are what happens inwardly, and emotions are what happen outwardly. So women have an issue with having a feeling and thinking that it's okay to act out emotionally based on that feeling. Like, it's okay to be angry. Nobody's saying like you can't be angry. It's okay to be angry. What's not okay is punching somebody in the face because you're angry. It's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to like just throw yourself out of a car and speed in traffic because you're sad today. Like, keep your emotions in check. And that's what men don't really know how to deal with. They don't know how to deal with the fact that when we feel something, we act it instead of just expressing the feeling and saying like, look, here's the thing. What you did kind of made me really angry, and not to mention sad and disappointed at the same time, because I felt like you should have noticed A, B, C, D, E, and G. Instead, we might throw things. We might get so angry that they're not hearing us out. We might be standoffish or aloof or just walk out. Everybody has their differences in how they handle their emotions, but none of them are okay if they're not authentic and you're not expressing to your partner what it is that's bothering you. Now, you cannot express what it is that's bothering you, but then you shouldn't walk around and act like something's bothering you as well. So if you wanted to, let's say I'm not really that expressive. I feel like once you did it, you kind of already did it. Me talking to you about it is like, womp womp, you did it. It's too late. My feelings are already hurt. So will I necessarily always say something when my feelings are hurt? No. But I will take that time to work on myself and deal with just how I'm feeling. But I won't act funny toward the person that actually did it, unless I'm going to say something to them. So you have one option. You can either say something to them and tell them, or you can keep it to yourself and still act normal. But what you don't want to do is put someone on an emotional roller coaster of your crazy, agitated emotions and think that they're going to stay in line and try to get on this ride. Because even if I see an emotional woman, I'm like, that's not a ride I'm going to get in line for. We won't be friends. I probably won't hang out with her. Probably won't be doing too much with her. So, just keep your emotions in check. Don't act out whatever it is that you feel. Just learn to express yourself authentically and have integrity. It's called emotional integrity when something bothers you and you're able to express it in a manner that is conducive to what you want to happen. And the bottom line is you just want to resolve it. You don't want to stay in conflict. You don't want to stay in anger. You don't want to stay mad at the person. Really what you want is resolve. So if you want resolve, you have to just tell them that you want resolve and that you want to get over it. Another thing is because of the emotional state, I'm going to give you some keys and some things that men may do when they feel like you are getting super emotional. I'm just going to tell you. So because they're more even, when you start to act crazy, whether it's because of the time of the month or just having a bad day, they don't feel like riding the wave. So this roller coaster, and no one else is getting in line for it, and no one likes to be around a person who's unstable in their emotions and how you act them out, and it's surely going to ruin any relationship that you're in if you keep up this behavior. There is not any excuse for it. So the majority of them will respond the same. So here are a few examples. So although this may seem extreme, a guy, if you're getting crazy, will just walk away. That's the first and foremost thing that he's going to do. He's going to do that so that he doesn't hit you. Because if another man was approaching him the way that you were, either disrespectfully, condescendingly, loud, in his face, pointing, mushing, whatever it is, I'm hoping that none of y'all in here do that stuff. But I've seen it happen. They walk away to protect you and to protect them. So, because they don't know what's going on with you emotionally, they're going to leave the scene altogether to create space. If you don't live together, he's going to take a few days off from you. Alright, he was wilding. I'm not coming back for a couple days. And he probably won't answer the phone either. He's just going to, no, can't do it. If you do leave together, he may leave the house for a while to give you some time to cool off. But this is not the time to expect affection from him. That's not the time. Usually when we're all mad and emotional, irate, all we want is like a nice big hug and for a man to say, oh my God, it's okay. Like, I'm sorry, stop. But unfortunately, that's not what they're going to do because they never know and they never really do what we want them to do. It just doesn't happen. So they seek to create space. You want a hug, and nobody needs text messages that are like, ding, 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 ding. and it's like 5 paragraphs, he's not reading those because he knows that you're being crazy. So don't do any of it. Just when he leaves, take the time. Y'all must do that.
No,
Somebody. Don't call his phone 100 times. He's gonna keep waking you. Don't try to force him to talk to you, and don't text those long drawn out messages. It's only gonna make you look crazier than he already thinks you are. So just take a step back and give him his little bit of space, because I promise he'll come back, and then you guys will be able to talk as long as you don't act crazy again. They'll seek an outlet. To seek an outlet doesn't necessarily mean to have an affair, and I know people get scared of that. It just simply means they're gonna find ways to release steam and tension. It may constitute an affair, but not always. So this is a time where they're gonna take the time to do anything else besides hanging out with you. So it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be at the gym, they could be playing ball, they could be on the golf course, whatever it is, they just don't wanna be around you. So that's what it means. They're gonna seek an outlet. They might even throw themselves into a new business venture. Whatever it is, they wanna keep stuff like that. You can't, disrespect them with your tone of voice or how you word things or try to make them feel stupid. There's one thing to ask a question. It's another thing to ask a question that implies that they're idiots. Why would you do that like that? What made you do that? Like, when you're asking a question like that, you're basically saying the decision you made was stupid. I just am not saying that. I'm acting like I'm asking, but I don't really agree with it. Men repellents are the same thing. Men repellents are things that are like, anytime you do this, a guy is gonna run for cover. It's really just like spraying like an ant with some rays. Like, you don't want to do these things because they're gonna go packing when this happens. It's not to say that that they're gonna be perfect or that they're gonna do everything right, but the way you handle it, which again, this book is about women, the way you handle it is going to cause you to grow in the end. So I'm just going to give you some men repellents. The first one, obviously we just talked about it, is disrespect. That's the main and the strongest repellent. They do not like being disrespected. And disrespect can fall under many categories. You can show disrespect in your tone, how you treat them, what you say. They don't like to be belittled, made fool of, spoken to like a child. A lot of women talk to their husband like they're talking to a little boy. Why didn't you take the trash out? Like, I say that to my 16-year-old. Don't talk to him like he's a child. He's a grown man. So you don't get to talk to him like he's a kid. Talk to him like it's an adult. Honey, I really don't like the way the trash smells when it gets high. Do you mind taking it out for me? Show vulnerability. Don't show aggressiveness. You want him to want to take out the trash. You don't want him to be like, she's so aggravating. Take the trash out just because you're nagging and berating and being aggy. Like, I don't even know another word to say it, but women have a tendency to be a little aggy as opposed to being sweet and alluring and magnetic and making him be like, oh man, I forgot to take the trash out. I know she don't like the smell. Let me go grab it. That's what you want him to feel. You don't want him to do it out of obligation. You want him to do it because it's in his heart to want to please you. So we have women have the power to lift men up, and we have the power to chop them down with our words. We're good with that. That's a gift we have. Our communication and our words are really powerful. So if you have a mate, a boyfriend, and you're constantly chopping them down, why would you do that? You're going to wear that with that? That doesn't match that. Why did you do that? Did you pick your son up that? Even if he doesn't say anything, it's constantly pecking at him and pecking at him and pecking at him. And it's pecking away at his manhood.